After 1,825 acres of land transformed, 28 million cubic yards of dirt moved, more than 170 machines running around the clock, and $13.9 billion spent to raise a massive industrial complex from the ground, reshaping not just this region, but the future of American manufacturing, the biggest construction project on the US East Coast is finally complete. But what does it take to build something at this scale? And now that it's finished, what happens next? Let's take a closer look at the largest construction project on the East Coast. Across the US, a new industrial boom is taking shape. After decades of factories shutting down and jobs moving overseas, the race to bring high-tech manufacturing back to American soil is in full swing. Government incentives, stricter emissions regulations, and a rapidly evolving auto industry are forcing automakers to rethink their entire production strategy. The shift to electric vehicles has made one thing clear: batteries, not gasoline, will determine the future of the auto industry. But there's a problem. Right now, China dominates battery production, controlling 60% of the global supply. If the US wants to stay competitive, it needs to build, and fast. To counter this, the US has imposed steep tariffs on Chinese EVs and related products. Under the Trump administration, a 25% tariff was placed on Chinese EVs, and in 2024, the Biden administration increased it to 100%, effectively shutting out Chinese EV imports. The goal? Force automakers to build EVs and batteries domestically, ensuring the US doesn't fall behind in the race for clean energy manufacturing. That's why billions of dollars are now pouring into new battery plants across the country, as automakers scramble to secure their own supply chains. The stakes aren't just about making cars, they're about who controls the next era of transportation. And that brings us here, to a once empty stretch of land in North Carolina that has transformed into one of the largest construction projects on the East Coast. This is Toyota's biggest investment in US history, a $13.9 billion megaproject set to produce enough batteries to power nearly 1 million vehicles each year. But why did Toyota choose North Carolina for this massive project? Location, location, location. The state offers strategic advantages that made it the ideal choice. It's close to Toyota's car factory in Kentucky, streamlining the supply chain, and it boasts abundant renewable energy, aligning with Toyota's ambitious goal of running the plant on 100% clean power. North Carolina's business-friendly policies and strong manufacturing workforce also played a role, helping Toyota secure the resources needed to build at this scale. To build a factory of this magnitude, the first challenge was reshaping the land itself. The Greensboro-Randolph megasite, once an expanse of rolling hills and farmland, had to be flattened, reinforced, and stabilized to support a facility spanning 7 million square feet. Beneath the surface, engineers had to ensure the ground could handle the weight of an industrial giant, using a range of geotechnical engineering techniques to create a stable and secure foundation. Massive rollers and weighted machines compacted the soil, squeezing out air pockets and preventing any future settling. On steeper terrain, steel rods were driven deep into slopes and rock faces, reinforcing weak areas and securing the ground. In softer sections, engineers injected liquid cement and resins, filling gaps and strengthening the soil from within. To ensure the land remained stable during excavation, deep steel anchors were embedded into the earth, holding everything in place until more permanent reinforcements were installed. But even with these reinforcements, the unpredictability of the ground beneath remained a challenge. To prevent future foundation shifts, engineers relied on high-tech subsurface mapping. Cone penetration testing, CPT, pushed sensors deep into the soil, measuring resistance and determining its overall strength. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, scanned for hidden weaknesses, while finite element modeling, FEM, simulated how the soil would react under millions of tons of pressure. Every inch of this site had to be tested, reinforced, and built to withstand decades of use. But all that was just the beginning. Stabilizing the land was one thing. Now Toyota had to build an industrial giant on top of it. The sheer scale of materials used is staggering. The site required over 600,000 cubic yards of concrete and 50,000 tons of structural steel, roughly the weight of 7 Eiffel Towers. Inside, 14 production lines are taking shape, each dedicated to manufacturing high-capacity lithium-ion batteries for hybrid and electric vehicles. But to build at this pace, Toyota needed more than just materials. It needed machines and manpower. Lots of them. At peak construction, the site employed over 3,000 workers, from engineers and crane operators to electricians and technicians. With shifts running nearly around the clock, it took an army of skilled labourers to keep up with the demands of a project this size. On top of that, more than 170 heavy machines worked simultaneously, carving out the factory's massive footprint. Caterpillar 631 scrapers and D10 dozers pushed through the earth, reshaping the land to accommodate the plant's enormous scale. 395 and PC 1250 excavators handled precision digging, cutting deep into the terrain to lay foundations, while 745 articulated dump trucks hauled away millions of cubic yards of dirt. Towering above it all, cranes with lifting capacities of over 500 tons hoisted steel beams into place, assembling the factory's skeletal framework piece by piece. Keeping this army of machines running 20 hours a day, 6 days a week, required its own maintenance hub, a 25-acre equipment yard where mechanics worked around the clock to refuel, repair, and optimize the fleet. Every 4 hours, machines cycled in for refueling and inspections, ensuring uninterrupted operations. Beyond the machines and manpower, the site itself needed a stable and sustainable supply of resources. With an operation of this size, water was just as important as steel and concrete. Toyota developed its own water infrastructure, including a 750,000-gallon elevated storage tank standing 180 feet tall, ensuring a steady and reliable supply for construction and future operations. But Toyota's commitment to sustainability doesn't stop there. The entire megafactory is designed to run on 100% renewable energy, aligning with the company's goal of carbon neutrality by 2035. By the time it's fully operational, the project will have created 5,000 permanent jobs, with up to 10,000 indirect jobs in supporting industries, making a huge economic impact on the region. As the final phases of construction wrapped up in late 2024, Toyota's massive battery plant in North Carolina is now shifting from construction to full-scale operations. Now, in March 2025, the plant is entering its final testing phase. The first official battery shipments are scheduled to roll out in April 2025, making the beginning of full-scale production. By 2027, all 14 production lines will be fully operational, producing over 30 gigawatt-hours of battery capacity annually, enough to power nearly 1 million vehicles per year. 4 of these lines will be dedicated to hybrid electric vehicles, HEVs, while the remaining 10 will support both HEVs and battery electric vehicles, BEVs. The facility is designed for modular expansion, allowing it to adapt to future advancements in battery technology. With an eye on 2030, Toyota plans to launch 30 new BEV models globally, supported by its growing battery production capacity. And this is only the beginning. Over the next 20 years, the TBMNC plant is expected to generate $9.5 billion in economic activity, solidifying North Carolina's role as a key player in the U.S. EV supply chain. But Toyota isn't the only company building big battery factories in America. Hyundai is making a massive push into the US EV market with its Metaplant America, HMGMA, in Georgia. The company is investing $5.54 billion in the facility, which will produce 300,000 electric vehicles per year, not just batteries. The first American-made Ioniq 5 rolled off the assembly line in October 2024, marking a major milestone for Hyundai's US production. Once fully operational, the project is expected to create 8,500 new jobs, fueling both the local economy and the competition in the EV industry. Ford, meanwhile, is going even bigger with its Blue Oval battery parks in Tennessee and Kentucky, a combined $11.4 billion investment. In Kentucky, Ford is building 3 battery plants at a cost of $5.8 billion, which will generate 120 gigawatt-hours of battery capacity annually and create 5,000 jobs, slightly lower than initial projections. In Tennessee, Ford's $5.6 billion investment includes an EV assembly plant aimed at supporting the company's goal of producing 2 million EVs per year by 2026. Tesla, the company that made electric cars mainstream, is rapidly expanding as well. In Nevada, it is investing $3.6 billion to expand its Gigafactory, adding 4 million square feet, dedicated to manufacturing Tesla's 4680 battery cells and the Tesla semi-electric truck. Test production is set for late 2025, with full production rolling out in 2026. Meanwhile, in Texas, Tesla is ramping up production of the Cybertruck and enhancing battery manufacturing, though details on the expansion remain limited. Toyota's North Carolina battery plant is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. With automakers investing tens of billions into battery production, the US is racing to position itself as a global powerhouse in electric vehicle technology. But will this megafactory and others like it be enough to challenge China's dominance, or is there still more work to be done? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to like, share and subscribe for more MegaBuilds stories.